DOJ uncovering even more fraud in Minnesota, announcing charges against 15 different people. The DOJ says that scheme ended up costing taxpayers more than $90 million.
Yeah, senior correspondent Mike Tobin's reporting on this out of Chicago for us. And also, we learned more details, Mike, of these two Minnesota autism therapy providers charged in a $46 million Medicaid fraud case. I mean, the details that are emerging here, Mike, are quite shocking.
It really is remarkable, and we've reported some of these details to you in the past. When you talk about the autism services that were provided, that's a program that started out with a budget of $600,000, which jumped to $400 million. The way the scam worked is these centers encouraged parents to get diagnoses for their kids that were bogus, then bill the government and U.S. taxpayers for treatment of autism for a kid that didn't need it. Ultimately, now the people who need this autism treatment can't get it because the program has been canceled. The same thing happened with the housing stabilization program. Started out with an estimated budget of $2.5 million. It was exploited to roughly 50 times that, $104 million, to the point that the program was canceled, and the people who need this service now cannot get this service. Now, Colin McDonald, the Assistant Attorney General for Fraud Prevention, had some strong words for the fraudsters who are still at large.
Now, my message to the fraudsters is this: eat, drink, and be merry today, because your days of frolicking and freedom are numbered.
And meantime, on this very same day, the woman convicted as the kingpin at the center of the massive Feeding Our Future scandal is sentenced to 41.5 years in jail. That works out to be a little more than 35 years before she has a shot at parole. Amy Bach is her name. She's also on the hook for $243 million in restitution. And that is the amount of money the court determined was scammed from taxpayers in that Feeding Our Future scandal alone. Amy Bach sobbed in the courtroom before she was sentenced. With shackled hands and feet, she said, quote, "I understand I failed. I failed the public, my family, everyone." Now, in March of 2025, Bach was convicted of mail fraud, wire fraud, bribery, and conspiracy. Prosecutors say she pulled the strings on this pandemic scandal with a program that was intended to feed poor kids during the pandemic. Instead, fraudsters billed Medicaid for meals that were never delivered. Before today, 79 people had been charged with defrauding taxpayers for pandemic money. 65 of them, Bill, have been convicted.
Yeah, Mike, I got to believe that people watch that news conference and were just raging at the screen, learning the details of this fraud and just how deep some of these networks ran. Mike, thank you for the update out of Chicago. All right.
So what y'all think about this? Now, I know when it comes to Minnesota and fraud, there's a lot of people that just like to say, oh, they're targeting them and all of this. I'm like, okay, cool. But let me ask you something. If it is factual that they are committing, and I don't mean they just in one particular group, I mean people in Minnesota, period, whether it's Somalian, whether it's white like Amy or whoever, whatever their color is, whatever their race is, people in Minnesota, period, committing fraud, should they not be targeted? And I'm not saying they as in that group. What I'm saying is the people specifically who are actually knowingly committing the fraud should be targeted. I'm not saying a specific group. I'm saying people, period, who are knowingly committing it. Now, a lot of people also like to say, well, it's Fox News, they right wing and they are. Okay, cool. But if we go do our research and go outside, and I'm going to put this up too. If we go outside of Fox News and we talk about Department of Justice, NPR and you know what I mean, and CBS, like we go to sources like that, they give you information on the case. So Amy Bach used her nonprofit to sponsor food vendors and restaurants, allowing them to submit claims for millions of meals to low-income children that were never actually served. I think we all agree that that's fraud, right? So apparently she was the head of it. He was the founder of the nonprofit Feeding Our Future. So apparently the scheme defrauded federal child nutrition programs out of roughly $250 million, with projections suggesting the total could top $350 million. Now, that's a lot of money to be committing fraud. I mean, like, I think we all can agree. And I only want to go over the facts because I don't want anybody to say I'm biased or anything. I'm literally just going over what the facts in the case were. That's it. Following a 6-week trial in March 2025, Bach and co-conspirator Salim Saeed were found guilty of wire fraud. Now, conspiracy and federal programs bribery. Now, she had her day in court. Her and him, they had their day in court. So people can't say they didn't get, due process and all of that. No, we're talking about people who are actually arrested, charged, went through trial, and were presented evidence that they did, in fact, commit millions of dollars of fraud. You cannot deny those facts. You know what I'm saying? No matter if you want to say, well, that particular group, and not Amy, but Salim, like his particular group of people were targeted. You can say that all you want, but if he actually, it's been proven that he, committed fraud, then you can't negate that fact that he still committed fraud along with Amy. And it was happening under the noses of the leadership in Minnesota. You can't deny that. You can be mad at the right all you want. You can be mad at Trump all you want. You can be mad at ICE all you want. You can be mad at Nick Shirley all you want. You can be mad at anybody on the right that wants to uncover fraud, right? And think that these people are just being targeted over in Minnesota. But what you cannot negate is the facts. And the facts are, at least for Amy and Salim, that they were committing fraud. You cannot negate those facts. So also, May of this month, Amy was sentenced to 500 months in federal prison in order to pay more than $240 million in restitution. Now, she ain't gonna pay that, along with an additional $5.2 million in personal forfeitures. Now, I could have, so 500 months. She got about 41 years, apparently. Let me see right quick. Let's just make sure this report is somewhere accurate. Let's see, it's 12 months in a year, right? She got sentenced to 500 of them, right? So it's about 41 years. Because you had to divide. Three, 4, yeah. She got about 41 years. 41 years. Yep, because you would do that 500, because it was 12 months in a year, right? And you do 500 because it's 500 months. But if you're doing that by 41, you get 12. Which is the same if you was to do 12 times the 41, you know what I'm saying? Because it's 12 months in a year, so 12 times the 41 would get you 500. So, or roughly, So roughly 500. So about 500 months. She got a lot, and they said like 41 years and some change. So yeah, it's about right. I don't know if y'all can hear that. My dog going crazy. I got to get ready to go get him. So the investigation actually resulted in 79 people being charged, 65 defendants either pleading guilty or being convicted by this month. So they did an extensive investigation, and let's be clear though. So let's not give DOJ all the credit, right? Because just Minnesota as well as California, we wouldn't even know that this was happening if it wasn't for Nick Shirley. Like, we got to be honest. And Nick Shirley is not MAGA. Okay, he's not Trump support. He is an independent journalist, an independent YouTuber. That's what he is. Because a lot of people like to like listen to like CNN and stuff like that, and they will put him in a box of a MAGA, and he will come out and say, "I'm not MAGA." You know what I'm saying? And people don't want to believe him because what he's uncovering is looking bad for the left. You know what I'm saying? So you can't negate those facts about it. Nick Shirley started these investigations with him and just his YouTube channel against Minnesota and California, and he going to other places too, uncovering fraud. And then you see these other agencies within that state now starting to do, or in the DOJ, along with DOJ, now started to do investigations. But nobody was doing these investigations and going hard at them at the specific states and cities like Nick Shirley was. So you got to give credit to Nick Shirley for uncovering actual fraud. And when they do their investigations, because he uncovered something, they actually find out that in fact people have been committing this fraud. I was like, so either, and whether you're on the left or not, now you got to say to yourself, well, are we mad that these people are committing fraud? And not just talking about one group of people. Like I said, it's multiple people, more different races. Like, so we got to ask, do we want this fraud to be uncovered? If you don't, the only people, in my opinion, who don't want fraud uncovered is people who are involved. People who are involved don't want fraud uncovered. I think everybody else who actually pays tax dollars and are upstanding citizens and, would want the fraud uncovered. I would rather the fraud be uncovered and those people get held accountable, because if I'm making my living the way I'm making my living and I'm doing great and me and my family are thriving without committing fraud, then why did this person get to have the same lifestyle as me or even better while committing fraud? Like, no, if you committed fraud, be held accountable. It is what it is. I'm like, that's the place we live in. So I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Amy and, the founder of this organization, being convicted of about 41 years for the hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud she's been committing and she's been letting happen. Like, what do y'all feel about it? I think it's a great thing. I don't even say it's a win for the right or nothing like that. I'm just saying, listen, we're finding somebody who was getting hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud and who knows where it was going, who know what she really was doing with it. You know what I mean? So don't know. I'm just saying it is not right. We're not getting a piece of that hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Us upstanding citizens are not getting a piece of that hundred of millions of dollars in fraud. So, and I'm not saying if we receive the fraud money that we should be okay with it. I'm just saying on a surface level, we're not receiving money like that at all, or even a piece of it. Not the fraud part, but money, period. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of millions. So it's like this person shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? And the companies up under it and the umbrella of it and all of that shouldn't be receiving none of that either. You know what I'm saying? Especially when, like you heard when he was saying, hey, now there's kids with autism who can't get the treatment or can't get this and that because there's a pause on it. If you actually look it up, there's a pause on it because of the fraud. So now there's kids with actual autism who can't get helped in that place, in that area. Like, is that messed up or no? I think that's messed up. I think there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be held accountable. I think more than just Minnesota. I think California too, they're doing an investigation over there. I think it's going to be multiple other states and cities that are going to get investigated for fraud. And I think they're going to get found out too. But we'll see. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section about Amy and committing fraud over there in Minnesota and stuff. And it just been happening for years and stuff, and hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud. And then when they get convicted, probably not even going to be able to pay it back. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that kind of stuff and her in the comment section. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Till next time, I'm out. I feel like I'm good on my own. Don't need nobody beside me.